Okay, it's 5 o'clock on the 25th of November 2025. I'm Chris Gibbs, the Shire President for the Shire of York, and I'll declare this meeting open at 5 p.m. The York Shire Council acknowledges the Balladong people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional owners of the country where this meeting is being held, and recognise their continuing connection to land, water, sky and culture. We pay our respects to all these people and their elders, past, present and emerging. Now, in accordance with Regulations 14I and 14J of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, notice is given that this meeting is being video and audio recorded to facilitate community participation and for minute-taking purposes. By being present at a meeting, members of the public consent to the possibility that their image and voice may be recorded. Audio recordings are published on the Shire's website following the meeting and may be released upon request for third parties. Members of the public are reminded that in accordance with Section 6.16 of the Shire of York Local Government Council Meetings Local Law 2016, that nobody shall use any visual or vocal recording device or instrument to record the proceedings of council without the written permission of the presiding member. I wish to draw attention to the disclaimer notice contained within the agenda document and advise members of the public that any decisions made at the meeting today can be revoked in accordance with Regulation 10 of the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996. Therefore, members of the public should not rely on any decisions until formal notification in writing from the Shire has been received. Any plans or documents in agendas and minutes may be subject to copyright. The express permission of the copyright owner must be obtained before copying any copyright material. There's no change to standing orders. Well, there will be some changes to standing orders. Okay, there's an item coming up where I'll need to have a procedural motion tonight to go outside of standing orders to discuss voting for some delegates for various committees. Okay, so that will come up later on this evening, and I'll explain it as we go, for the benefit of everyone in attendance. The announcement of visitors. We've got ex-councillor Peter Wright, who's attending for a presentation at item 6.2 this evening. Hello, Peter. Councillors, do I have any declarations of proximity interest on any items this evening? No, I don't. Do I have any declaration from councillors of financial interest this evening? Yes, Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a declaration for financial interest for SY 131-1125.
Excellent. We'll come to you when we get to that item. Thanks very much. And finally, councillors, do I have any disclosures of impartiality in tonight's items? I do not. Okay, so tonight's attendance, we've got myself, Councillor Chris Gibbs, Shire President, Councillor Denise Smythe, Deputy Shire President. We've got Councillor Elaine Ashford via electronic means. We have Councillor Monique Hutchinson, Councillor Kevin Trent and Councillor Melissa Welsh. In accordance with Regulation 14C of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, the Shire President has authorised Councillor Elaine Ashford to attend this meeting via electronic means, having given consideration to the location from which Councillor Ashford is attending the meeting and the equipment used to attend the meeting, confirming they are suitable to enable effective engagement in deliberations and communications and ensuring confidentiality. The staff that are here tonight is Alina Behan, Temporary Chief Executive Officer, Annika Bielsen, Acting Executive Manager for Corporate and Community Services, Rebecca Palumbo, Acting Executive Manager, Infrastructure and Development Services, Vanessa Green, Council and Executive Support Officer. We have apologies from Councillor Kevin Pike. We have no leaves of absence previously approved, and the number of people in the gallery at the commencement of tonight's meeting is 11. Okay. So we'll move on to questions from previous meetings. Response to previous public questions taken on notice, there were none. And response to unasked questions from the previous meeting, there were none, which brings us to public question time. So public question time is conducted in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995 and the regulations, in addition to this Shire's Local Government Council Meetings Local Law 2016, which states A member of the public who wishes to ask a question during question time must identify themselves and register with the council officer immediately prior to the meeting. A question may be taken on notice by the council for a later response. When a question is taken on notice, the CEO is to ensure that a response is given to the member of the public in writing and that a summary of the response is included in the agenda of the next meeting of council. Where a question relating to a matter in which a relevant person has an interest is directed to the relevant person is to declare that he or she has an interest in the matter and allow another person to respond to the question. Each member of the public with a question is entitled to ask up to 2 questions before other members of the public will be invited to ask their questions. And where a member of the public provides written questions, then the presiding member may elect for the questions to be responded to as normal business correspondence. The presiding member may decide that a public question shall not be responded to where A, the same or similar question was asked at a previous meeting, a response was provided, and the member of the public is directed to the minutes of the meeting at which the response was provided. B, the member of the public uses public question time to make a statement, provided that the presiding member has taken all reasonable steps to assist the member of the public to phrase the statement as a question. Or C, the member of the public asks a question that is offensive or defamatory in nature, provided that the presiding member has taken all reasonable steps to assist the member of the public to phrase the question in a manner that is not offensive or defamatory. A member of the public shall have 2 minutes to submit a question. The council, by resolution, may agree to extend public question time. Where any questions remain unasked at the end of public question time, they may be submitted to the CEO, who will reply in writing and include the questions and answers in the agenda for the next ordinary council meeting. Where an answer to a question is given at a meeting, a summary of the question and the answer is to be included in the minutes. So we will commence public question time at 5:07 p.m. So, written questions on the current agenda, there are nil. So we'll go to the next one. We do have a question from Jane Farrow that's already been submitted. Jane, are you coming to the podium? And just letting everyone know that recent changes to the Local Government Act and basically around the recordings, you only need to state your name when you come to the podium, not your name and address, just your name. Okay? Jane.
and/or in Beaufort, because they have to cross busy roads to get back onto the west side of Avalon Terrace. At least one complaint has already been lodged. Why, my first question, why has this not been corrected sooner, considering the footpath is the Shire's responsibility, never mind the delay apparently caused by the owner of the building in disrepair?
Okay, thanks, Jane, for your question. Because that one's operational, I will refer that to the temporary CEO for a response.
Thank you, through the Chair. And Jane, I will pass that on to our acting EMIDS to walk you through the process we've been through so far.
Thank you, through the Chair. Yes, we would agree with you. It's been a long, drawn-out process, and I thought to give you a bit of a timeline might help to understand what's been going on. So the incident originally occurred in September, around September 2024, and between then through to February, we were in contact with the owner to try and attempt to get something done. In February 25, we fenced off the area, and in March, we issued a notice of repair to the owner. Ongoing discussion, and in May of 2025, we issued a building order to the owner. In June, we got notification that he had appealed that building order to the State Administrative Tribunal. So after an initial hearing in SAT in July, we went to mediation in August, and then in October we had on-site meetings plus a further SAT hearing. The last time it got adjourned then again, and the last time we went to SAT was just last week, where the owner is claiming some delays in being able to complete the building works. So as of last week, the matter has been adjourned to the 12th of December. because the matter is before SAT, our hands are somewhat tied. We can't take action because the tribunal is determining whether our building order is appropriate, whatnot. We have been fairly frustrated by the process as well, and are currently preparing for the 12th of December hearing, where we intend to be very serious with them and tell them we're very serious about this. But no, the next hearing on the 12th of December, we are hoping that everyone involved will be working towards a resolution quicker than it's taken so far.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Jane, your second question?
I'll slightly modify it because of what I was just told.
Okay.
Is the Shire aware that there is a liability because it's responsible for footpaths before someone is injured or worse when crossing the roads because the scaffolding is blocking the footpath?
Okay. Thanks, Jane, and I will refer that one to the temporary CEO as well, as it is operational.
Thank you. Through the chair, back to our acting EMIDs.
Thank you, through the chair. So, in regards to liability, we deal with this liability issue quite often when footpaths are blocked and everything like that. So, we are managing the blocking of that footpath to the best of our ability to ensure safety as much as we can. The footpath there is closed, and there is a need for alternatives around it. So, I think in regard to liability, it's no different to any other situation that we face in that, when footpaths are blocked. So.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you, Jane. Okay, there are no further. There are no further pre-written questions. So now we can take questions that are to do with the agenda this evening. Does anyone have a question they're asking that's to do with tonight's agenda? It wouldn't appear so. So we can move to anyone who has a question that they would like to ask us. Excellent, sir. If you could just come to the podium and state your name and then ask your question, please. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Mario, we've got your two questions. So your first question is why you received the final notice after you had already paid. And your second question is why was the money floating around before it had been applied to your account? Thank you. I will pass those to the temporary CEO as it's operational.
Thank you, through the chair. So you weren't the only one that was affected by that particular issue. There was a delay in updating a receipting batch until after some of the monies had been received. The final notices, unfortunately, were run. During that time, we were waiting for the computer to update, and this led to the incorrect notices being issued. And obviously, we do sincerely apologise for anyone that was caught up in that issue and any confusion or inconvenience that's caused. But we have rectified the receipting process. We've changed the process so that it can't happen again. And that's the answer.
Okay. Thanks for your questions, Mario. Do we have any further questions from the floor? Please come to the podium and state your name.
My name's Darlene Barrett. There's approximately 1,900 rateable properties and a very small population of residents. And I wondered why we have so many managers for departments in the Shire of York.
Thanks for the question, Darlene. As that one's operational, I'll also pass it to the temporary CEO.
Thank you, through the chair. We undertake a comprehensive workforce planning process which identifies all the staff that are needed to produce the results that are requested by community through our council planning process, and we staff accordingly.
Thanks for your question, Darlene. Are there any further questions? If there's no further questions, then we will close question time at 5:15 p.m. Thanks, everyone. Applications for leave of absence, there are none. Presentations. We have no petitions, but we do have a presentation. And we've got a presentation tonight to ex-councillor Peter Wright, and in accordance with policy E7 councillors, which is recognition of service for Mr. Wright, thanking him for his service to the community as a councillor from October 2021 to October 2025. So we've got something for Mr. Wright, and I'll come and come and present that to him now. So what we do is we present Councillor Wright with his name tag from the Council Chambers table. So that's for you. I can give it back to you. And then we also have his certificate of recognition to Peter Wright for his service to the community from October 2021. We're getting a photo together. October 2021 to October 2025. And an excellent. Okay. Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Mr. Wright. We also have a presentation to ex-councillor Dennis Warnick, but he couldn't attend the meeting, and he will be presented with his certificate in accordance with the policy at a later date. Council, however, does thank him for his service to the community as a councillor from October 2017 to October 2025, including a run as Deputy Shire President. All right, moving on to deputations, and we have two deputations tonight. The first deputation is from Darlene Barrett. And just a reminder to councillors, because we have some new councillors, deputations don't include questions. At the end of the deputation, any councillor is more than welcome to ask Darlene questions. Darlene.
Including unanswered emails, inconsistent staff availability and interactions that left me without clear guidance. As a result of these issues, I was placed in risk of losing a lawful accommodation and facing potential homelessness. No resident should encounter such difficulties when following the appropriate procedures and seeking accurate information from the local government. These failures suggest that current administrative and planning processes may lack sufficient oversight, consistency and efficiency to safeguard residents moving forward. I respectfully request that the Council consider implementing the following improvements: clear accountability measures for staff providing planning and administrative advice, enhanced communication protocols to ensure timely, consistent and transparent interactions with applicants, mandatory training for staff in the interpretation of a bowel assessment and relevant planning legislation, streamlined procedures for urgent temporary accommodation applications where delays could place the resident at risk, streamlined processes for all applications to encourage residents to interact with the Shire and trust the Shire's procedures are fair and equitable, correct and adequate information given to our elected members such as copies of legislation and policies and procedures and full plans, etc., to enable them to make an informed decision on behalf of those who have elected them to do so. Implementing these measures will not only prevent unnecessary hardship for community members, but will also strengthen public trust, safeguard the Shire's reputation and uphold the integrity of the processes. I hate to use this term, but I'm going to use it. It's time to make the Shire of York great again. And if it starts with working with people to make things happen, looking outside the box rather than the can't do that is happening. I thank the Council for considering this submission and trust that meaningful action will be taken to address the concerns raised and act to improve the systems and conduct
It's okay.
that affect residents so profoundly. Sincerely, Darlene Barrett, resident of York.
Okay. Thanks very much, Darlene, and thanks for your level of detail and for coming to speak to us tonight. Councillors, does anyone have a question on the deputation for Darlene? And I'll check with Councillor Ashford online. Do you have any questions? Okay, so Darlene, hold on. Councillor Trent, you have a question.
Yes, Mr. President. Following tonight's meeting and the resolution which we'll be debating, would you be satisfied that your concerns have been adjusted and fixed up?
My personal concerns may be adjusted and fixed up, but I do think that there is something inherently happening in the Shire at the moment, and I have been in York for 20 years and I've lived through half a dozen CEOs and multiple things happening in the Shire, and this situation that we have at the moment with people not being given the relevant information, not answered, things not working out properly and the delays was all happening in the Ray Hooper days, and I do not want to revisit that, and I don't want anybody in the Shire of York to have to ever revisit that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darlene. Are there any other questions for Darlene? Okay. So your item is tonight, Darlene, and we'll look forward to having a look at that when it comes up. Thank you. We have a second deputation tonight from Carol McCarroll. Just state your name when you come up, please.
Carol McCarroll, been in York for 11 years. I'd like to bring forward my deputation for funding. My boss may be an echo, but I want it to be heard. And why York needs this funding. Suicide is preventable. 9 people per day die by suicide in Australia, 7 of them are men. Alarmingly, the suicide rate among females aged between 25 to 29 years are the highest age-specific rates since 2023. In 2024, 3,307 people in Australia died by suicide. 76.5% of those deaths were men. Regional, rural and remote areas have the most reported deaths by suicide. Funding is crucial. Suicide prevention is paramount. People with suicidal thoughts should not suffer in silence. The turmoil they feel will be like a ship lost in the sea and tossed, being tossed and tossed around with no way out. We need to build a support bridge with firmly placed anchors, a safe place, a haven, a hub, a place to talk, to have someone listen to them so that their battle should not be dealt with in silence and alone. It takes immense courage for a person to actually speak up and ask for help before it's too late and that they feel that there is no point and point of no return. The outcome to this is complete and utter tragedy. A safe place and a caring hub is needed. A person who has thoughts of suicide would benefit and should be given praise for seeking help and speaking up. In actual fact, they are to be considered courageous for asking for help. You never know, that pat on the back, that much needed hug, the firm handshake and the kind word would actually save their life. Families and loved ones who have been affected by the catastrophic tragic loss of suicide, losing a loved one, would also benefit by having a safe place to talk to be listened to not be judged, and to offload and not to feel ashamed for seeking help. Trust me, I have lived with this trauma twice now. First was 1996, my husband of 18 years, the father of my children, died by suicide. This year, my 45-year-old son died in April, 230 days ago. 230 days have I think of my son, father of 6 children. Sometimes I think I'm going to break. The horrendous grief, the type that brings one to their knees grief. No one can comprehend or quite understand what losing someone to suicide does unless they've actually lived it. The void suicide leaves is like a black hole with no escape. Everyone needs to feel loved, feel needed, and not feel ashamed to seek help. York needs this funding. We need to stop the 9 suicides a day. The funding is crucial. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks very much. Thank you for the courage to get up and tell your story. I don't think anyone could articulate that better. I would also like to say that it certainly resonates with me working in that space over the last few years, that when it comes to the numbers for regional areas, it's felt so keenly when we're in small communities, because the propensity for someone to know the families that have been affected goes up incrementally. I did have one question, if that's okay. I just want you're referring to funding. Was there any funding in mind that you're actually referring to that you think would be good for York to look into, or you were just talking about a general level of funding towards? Could you just go to the mic, please? Sorry.
Funding for a hub, for somebody to come and people to feel that they have got a safe place to go to. Even people like me, some days I feel that I can't cope. Beautiful Denise pops her head in my shop often and says, "How you going?" It means the world to me.
Okay.
You know, people need to feel safe. They need somewhere where they can offload. I know Monique had said that I've got the strongest voice in York for this because it's affected me 2 times.
Understood.
And it's catastrophic.
Okay. Understood. Councillors, are there any questions? Councillor Hutchinson.
In regards to the presiding member, in regards to this item, Carol, there's 4 different spaces for funding. I think you're referring to the Healthy Self Wellness York funding, just for clarity for presiding member.
Understood. Thank you.
As we are looking at suicidal groups for support and for individuals.
Thanks for the clarification there, Councillor Hutchinson. Councillors.
I'd be more than happy to work alongside Monique, but somebody to go just to talk to that lost a loved one, because I know what it's like.
Understood. Councillors, are there any further questions for Carol? Councillor Ashford online, do you have any questions for Carol? Okay. Just bear with us a second, folks. It's hard to...
Sorry, apologies.
That's okay. Councillor Ashford.
President Gibbs.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, President Gibbs. No questions, but what a very brave statement. Thank you for sharing, Carol.
Okay. Thanks very much, Carol. Thank you. And yes, as part of community funding, there's an item tonight related to that deputation. Okay. Thanks very much. Okay, we'll move on to the delegates' reports. Councillor Denise Smythe advised that she'd attended the following things during October 2025. Thank you, Councillor Smythe. And we'll move on to the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meetings. There's a recommendation there. Would anyone like to move the recommendation? Councillor Trent.
Moves the recommendation as printed.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder for the confirmation of minutes?
Councillor Welsh, I'm happy to second the minutes.
Councillor Welsh is seconding. I'm assuming the mover or the seconder have nothing more to add there. No. Thank you. Okay, we will put it to the vote, please. Councillor Ashford, I'm not seeing a show of hands there. There it is. Thank you very much. That's unanimous and passed, carried 6-0. All right, announcements by the presiding member without discussion. So those are some things that I've attended during November 2025 as far as 11 November 2025. Okay. Into the officers' reports. So, item SY 126-11/25 is request to reside in a tiny home on wheels caravan at Lot 62 or 323 Bogling Road in Calgee. Okay, so the purpose of it is we're considering an application seeking approval to temporarily reside on that property for a period of up to 24 months. Councillors, there's a recommendation there. Can I please ask for any points of clarification or questions from council? No questions?
Mr. President, I'm prepared to move the recommendation as printed.
Okay, just hold on for a second, Councillor Trent. I'm just checking. Councillor Ashford, you have no questions either? Okay, thanks, Councillor Trent. Are you moving?
That's correct, as printed.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? I will second the motion. Second the recommendation. Councillor Hutchinson. Someone's microphone is on, Councillor Trent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to adopt that with an amendment.
You have a proposed amendment?
A proposed amendment.
What is your proposed amendment for the item?
My proposed amendment is that we remove point G.
Okay. Can we have a look at point G on screen, please, Vanessa?
So.
Okay. And do you have any context for that?
Yes, so by removing the extension of approval, we can align with the extra information we were given by admin today in regards to the fact sheet shared, which indicates that reapplying may be possible with the state government legislation. And also with admin's recommendation, it's better for council to be silent on this particular intent. So if we don't list it, we are still within the legislation.
Thanks, Councillor Hutchinson. Do I have a seconder for Councillor Hutchinson's proposed amendment? I do. Deputy President Smythe.
Councillor Smythe seconds the amended version.
Okay, so Council, what we need to do here is take a vote on the amendment being added to the item, after which we will vote on the item. So can I please have a vote on whether to accept Councillor Hutchinson's proposed amendment? And that is carried 6-0. So now we'll give Vanessa just a little bit of time to remove point G. Oh, hold on, that's not the right one. Has it already been done, Vanessa? Sorry, you're too fast for me. Okay, so we now have the recommendation as it currently stands with the earlier point removed. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson moves.
Okay, do I have a seconder?
Seconded, Councillor Trent.
Thank you very much, Councillor Trent. Okay, let's take a vote. No one speaking against the motion? Okay, let's vote then. And that is carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll go to the next item. SY 127-11/25 is a request to reside in a caravan at Lot 24 or 6 Cardwell Road in York. The purpose of the report is to consider that application seeking approval to temporarily reside on the property within a caravan for up to 24 months. There's a recommendation there. And can I please ask for points of clarification or questions from council first? There are none. Do I have a mover? Oh, sorry, Councillor Trent, did you have a question?
Yes. Is it the intention?
Can you put your microphone on, please?
Is it the intention of the property owner to build a house in future?
Thanks for your question, Councillor Trent. I will pass that over to the temporary CEO for a response.
Thank you. Yes, the report states that there is an intention to build a house on the property, and this is temporary accommodation while that is happening. If you look at the recommendations, it includes the submission of building plans.
Okay. Are there any further questions, councillors? Okay. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh, I'm happy to move.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Trent.
Councillor Trent seconds. Yes, Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson, I propose an amendment.
Okay. What is your proposed amendment?
The proposed amendment is the same as item SY 126. This time it's stated as point J, and that to be removed for the same reasons as mentioned before.
Okay, can we get a quick look at point J on the screen, please, even though it is the same sort of thing? Yes, it is. Okay, so you are moving that we do the same amendment as we did on the previous item. Do I have a seconder for that amendment?
Councillor Ashford will second.
Okay, thanks very much, Councillor Ashford. Is anyone going to speak against that amendment, proposed amendment? No, there aren't. Let's take a vote on it, please. Okay, the amendment is passed 6-0, which means it now becomes part of the original recommendation. So, do I have a mover for the original for the amended recommendation? Yep.
Councillor Hutchinson moves.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Trent.
Councillor Trent is moving. Is anyone speaking against the recommendation? No. Let's put it to the vote, everyone. And that passes 6-0. Thank you. And we'll go to the next item. Item SY 128-11/25 is also a request to reside in caravan at Lot 151 or 30 Langford Road in York. And the purpose of the report is we're seeking approval to temporarily reside on the property within a caravan for a period of up to 24 months. There's a recommendation there. Councillors, are there any questions or points of clarification? I don't think there are. Sorry, Councillor Trent, did you have a question? No? Nothing from Councillor Ashford. So do I have a mover?
Councillor Trent moves.
Councillor Trent moves.
As
Do I
written.
have a seconder? Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh, second.
Councillor Welsh seconds. That's okay, Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson, in regards to the same as item SY 127 and 126, again to remove point G for the same reasons as discussed. Point J, same reasons as discussed.
Okay, everyone. So point J is the same clause as the other two that we have looked at. Do I have a seconder for that amendment? I do.
Councillor Smythe, seconds.
Councillor Smythe, thank you. Is anyone speaking against that particular amendment? Councillor Trent?
Yes, and I believe I should have raised it with the previous motion. Councillors, the person is wanting to build a home now on the site. They're going to be living in there on a temporary basis until the house is built, obviously. But I know there's difficulties getting builders. I know there's difficulties getting supplies to build houses. But I think that the 24-month period, at least we could certainly see that the house would be moving along by the time that takes place. So I just want to sort of raise that point, because that area up there is an area which is being developed, new houses being built. People around there would be concerned if they're going to be living in caravans for an extended period. And I know the legislation's still in doubt as to what's going to happen in the future, but I'd be enthusiastic about encouraging them to get on and build a house. But that's my comment.
Thanks, Councillor Trent. I believe that we would have an opportunity for Councillor Hutchinson to speak if we're heading into debate on this. Okay, so Councillor Hutchinson, would you like to speak in support of your amendment, proposed amendment?
Thank you, Mr. President. In regards to keeping this with transparency and consistency between all the properties would probably be the best thing for council in regards to the matter. Plus, it is not encouraging anyone to stay beyond 24 months. It's giving an opportunity in line with the state legislation at this time.
Okay, now, as the seconder, Councillor Smythe, you have the opportunity to speak as well.
No, I agree with what Councillor Hutchinson said.
Okay. Is anyone else wanting to speak against the amendment? No. Okay, so we've heard is anyone else wanting to speak for the amendment? I'll speak for the amendment, if that's okay. In line with what Councillor Hutchinson is saying, these are very, very similar applications, and I think that a uniform approach is required. We'll put it... Councillor Hutchinson, you have the opportunity to wrap up if you'd like. Okay.
I think it's been said.
Okay, let's put the proposed amendment to a vote. So we're voting on whether to amend this one in a similar fashion to the previous one. So do we vote for amendment? And that is passed 6-0. So we now go back to the recommendation as amended. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson moves.
Moving. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh, second.
You are second. Anyone speaking against the recommendation? Let's put it to a vote. And that has passed 6-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move to the next item. Item SY 129-11/25 is request to reside in a caravan at lot 10843 Langford Road in York. And it's an application seeking approval to temporarily reside at that property within a caravan for up to 24 months. Councillors, we have a recommendation there. I'm assuming there are no points of clarification or questions. There are not. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Ashford will move.
Councillor Ashford, thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Smythe, seconds.
Okay. Councillor Hutchinson?
Thank you, Mr. President. As the same as the item 126, 127 and 128 in regards to 129 to remove point G for the same reasons. Sorry, I skipped G. Point J for the same reasons as before.
No problem.
I'm happy to second that.
Councillor Smythe is seconding that. Would anyone like to speak against that proposed amendment? No. Let's vote on the amendment then, please. That's 6-0 approved. And we now take a look at the recommendation with that point removed. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Hutchinson, yes.
Councillor Hutchinson moves.
And seconded by Councillor Trent. Thank you. Is anyone speaking against the recommendation? No. Okay, let's take a vote. And that has passed unanimously at 6-0. Thank you, councillors. Thank you. We'll move to the next item, which is SY130-11/25, which is the operational management of the York Recreation and Convention Centre. The purpose of this report is just to provide council with an update on the management of the York Rec Centre, the bar and function area, which is managed by the York Bowling Club Incorporated, or YBC. There's a recommendation there. Councillors, are there any points of clarification or questions on this item? Okay. Do I have a mover?
I move, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Trent has moved. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Welsh, second.
Councillor Ashford beat you to the punch, Councillor Welsh, so we'll take Councillor Ashford there. Thank you very much. Do I have anyone to speak who would like to speak against the item? No? Okay, we will put it to a vote in that case. And that's carried 6-0. Thank you very much. We'll move to the next item. Okay, community funding applications. Item SY131-11/25 is community funding applications for the September 2025 funding round. Now, Councillor Hutchinson, I believe you will have an interest here.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So with regard to this particular community funding applications round, matter ends the item SY131-11/25. I disclose that I have a financial interest in this matter. The association is I am the chair of the charity seeking the funding, and as a consequence, I will leave the meeting.
Thanks very much, Councillor Hutchinson. If we could have your paperwork. And Councillor Hutchinson will leave the meeting. Oh, wait till she gets... And Councillor Hutchinson has left the meeting at 5:48 p.m. Okay, so the purpose of this report is Council gets information on 4 applications this time around for community funding received during the September 2025 community funding round, and it's for events and activities that occur up until the 30th of June next year. So this report is seeking Council's approval to grant the request for funding, and the total funding is $13,725. There's a recommendation there, councillors. Are there any points of clarification or questions? Yes, from Councillor Trent.
Yes, Mr. President. Following on from Carol McCarroll's deputation, I'm just wondering whether the $5,400 sought by the Healthy Self Wellness York WA Inc. will achieve some of the aims that Carol's looking for.
That's a good question. Healthy Self Wellness York have obviously requested that amount. I might pass it to the temporary CEO in case there's any context that can be added.
Thank you, and through the chair, I will pass it on to our acting EMCCS to resolve.
Thank you, through the chair. So there's 3 programs proposed as part of that funding, and one of them is around support groups for those affected by suicide. So I think it will go part way to what? Only because I'm not running that program. There was some details in the application, and it's quite thorough. I guess that would be a question that we may take on notice and provide more information for you, but it definitely is targeted in that area, part of that funding.
So, and I would add to that, it can only go part of the way to resolving the issue anyway. So it's a great first step in our community, but not the entirety of what might be required over time.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any further questions on the recommendation? No? Okay, do I have a mover? Councillor Smythe, you're moving.
Councillor Smythe moves the recommendation.
Do I have a seconder?
Seconds.
Thanks, Councillor Trent. Is anyone speaking against the recommendation? No. Okay, in that case, we'll put it to the vote, please. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's passed. That's carried 5-0. And we can invite Councillor Hutchinson back into the room. And Councillor Hutchinson is back in the room at 5:51 p.m. Thanks, everyone. We'll move to the next item. So, SY 132-11/25 is the York Bowling Club Incorporated, the acquittal of start-up funds and salaries support payments. The purpose of this report is it presents the acquittals for the start-up funds and the salary support payments to assist with the establishment costs associated with managing the licensed areas at the York Recreation and Convention Centre. This report seeks council approval to make a final acquittal payment to YBC of $8,000. Let's have a look at the recommendation. Are there any points of clarification or questions from council? There does not appear to be. Do I have a mover, please?
Move, Councillor Trent.
Councillor Trent moves. Thank you, Councillor Trent. And do I have a seconder?
Councillor Ashford will second.
Councillor Ashford beat you to the punch again. Thank you, Councillor Ashford. Just a reminder to council as well, when you put your hand up to move, I'll call for you to do that so we don't step on each other, okay? Thank you. All right, we've got our mover and seconder. Is anyone speaking against this item? No? Let's put it to the vote. Thank you. And that's carried. 6-0. Thank you. Moving right along. Item SY 133-11/25 is a policy review, E2, Councillors, Training and Continuing Professional Development. Okay, so we're looking at a review of that policy. Okay, let's have a look at the recommendation. There's the recommendation. Are there any points of clarification or questions from council on this item? There are not. Do I have a mover, please?
Councillor Trent moves.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Do I have a seconder?
Councillor Hutchinson seconds.
Thanks, Councillor Hutchinson. Is anyone speaking against this item? No. Let's put it to the vote, please. That's carried. 6-0. Thank you. Okay, item SY 134-11/25 is a new policy on incoming contributions, donations and sponsorships. We're presenting a new policy, a proposed new policy, relating to the Shire's commitment to transparent, ethical and consistent management of incoming contributions, donations and sponsorships for consideration. The administration is seeking council adoption of a draft policy. So, councillors, let's have a look at the recommendation. Any points of clarification or questions? Councillor Trent.
I take it that being a draft, it will be released to the public in the draft format, or will it just release to the council laws in its draft format to be voted on before going out to the public?
Thanks for the question, Councillor Trent. I will hand that over to the temporary CEO for a response.
Thank you, through the chair. The draft is draft until it's considered by council. If you pass it tonight as the adopted policy, it is then available on council website for anyone to view whatsoever. But we don't send policy out to consultation because it is council's policy. So it is as you determine tonight.
Thank you. Any further questions, anyone? Okay, do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Smythe.
Councillor Smythe moves the recommendation.
Do I have a seconder for the item?
Councillor Trent.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Is anyone speaking against the recommendation? Okay, let's put it to the vote. And that is carried 6-0. Thank you very much, councillors. Item SY135-11/25 is a request for amendment to the Shire of York Bushfire Brigade's Local Law 2025. We're seeking Council's consideration of the comments received by the Joint Standing Committee on Delegated Legislation in relation to amendments to the Shire of York Bushfire Brigade's Local Law 2025. There's a recommendation there. And the recommendation is coming up on the screen. There it is. Councillors, are there any points of questions or points of clarification on this item? No? Do I have a mover?
Councillor Trent moves.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wells?
Councillor Ashford.
Thanks, Councillor Ashford. We'll talk about it later. Okay, let's put it to the vote. Is anyone speaking against the item? No? Let's put it to the vote, everyone. And that's passed 6-0. We'll move to the next item. Getting there, folks. Item SY136-11/25 is reports on councillor attendance at the Walga CEO recruitment course. There's 4 reports there from some of us that were at the training. There's a recommendation there. Are there any questions or points of clarification on the reports submitted or on the recommendation? No. Do I have a mover?
So move, Councillor Trent.
Councillor Trent moves. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Hutchinson? Oh, your mic, Councillor Trent.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Councillor Hutchinson seconds.
Thank you very much. Is anyone speaking against this item? Let's put it to the vote. And that's carried 6-0. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll go to the next item. Okay, this one's interesting, everyone. So what we're going to do here is we're appointing delegates to the council committees, and we have nominations for those. So a procedural motion that I'm going to do here is to propose that we go outside of standing orders, which allows us to do simple votes on the delegates, and then we'll get to the item and move it with the delegates already in there. So I need to move that we go outside of standing orders, and I require a seconder.
Councillor Trent seconds.
Okay, Councillor Trent, thank you very much. Is anyone speaking against this procedural motion? No? Can we take a vote to go outside of standing orders, please? And that's carried 6-0. So what this allows us to do, everyone, is if you have a look on the screen, last week at the agenda briefing, various councillors put their hands up for various positions on various committees, and we have to take a vote on a couple of those so that we can finish the recommendation and then take a vote on it. So that's what we're doing now. So what we've got here is the first one is recommendation B. We're looking for the deputy. Sorry, it's moving around too much, Vanessa. Thank you. So I'm going to need some context there of what we're voting on, please, Vanessa. Or Alina. Okay.
So recommendation B is the appointment of delegates to the local emergency management committee. So normally it would be the Shire President who is the appointee and deputies as well. So we have nominations from yourself as the Shire President, and we need to vote between Councillor Kevin Trent and Councillor Monique Hutchinson. And it does say Councillor Elaine Ashford as the deputy, but really it's a deputy that we are actually resolving on.
Okay, Councillor Hutchinson.
I'm actually happy to come out of the voting, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to remove Councillor Hutchinson from consideration, which means for the deputy position, we're looking at Councillor Elaine Ashford and Councillor Kevin Trent, assuming that both councillors would still like to be the deputy for the York Local Emergency Management Committee. Councillor Trent?
Yes, Mr. President.
It's a yes from Councillor Trent. Councillor Ashford?
Yes, thank you, President.
Okay, so that will come down to a vote. Now, these ones are just done by show of hands, councillors. Okay. Does the administration have a specific way they'd like me to do this? Okay, so what we'll do is alphabetical order. I need to know if we have votes for Councillor Elaine Ashford as deputy. Including the nominees, you are allowed to vote. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that one, okay. So we will go for votes for Councillor Trent as well. Are there any votes for Councillor Trent? 1. Okay. So that puts Councillor Ashford in that part of the resolution as deputy. Okay. And we will move on to the next piece of voting. So it looks like it's for the Walga Avon Midland Country Zone, and we've got Councillors Smythe and Councillor Trent as deputy delegates. We have to vote on that.
Mr. President, I withdraw my name from that.
Okay, Councillor Trent is withdrawing, which leaves us, thank you Councillor Trent, that leaves us with Councillor Smythe as the proposed delegate. If there's only one delegate left, do we still vote? We do not vote now. Thanks, Councillor Smythe and Councillor Trent. Let's move on. So the next one is we have, Councillor Denise Smythe or Councillor Kevin Trent as deputy delegate to the Avon Regional Organisation of Councils.
Withdraw my nomination.
Councillor Trent is withdrawing his nomination, which makes Councillor Smythe the deputy delegate for that one. Thank you, councillors. It looks like that might be all of the voting. We'll just wait for some confirmation there, folks. Right, so what we need to do now is bring the item to the table. So I'll read it out. SY137. Oh, sorry. I need to move that we go back into standing orders. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Smythe.
Councillor Smythe seconds that we go back.
Okay. I'm assuming no one is against us going back into standing orders. So let's take a vote, please. And that's carried 6-0. We're back in standing orders. Let's have a look at the item number. Okay, SY137-11/25 is the appointment of delegates to council committees, working groups and external committees. We've just resolved all of the people that are going to be on those committees. Are there any points of clarification or questions on the recommendation? There are none. Do I have a mover?
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councillor Trent moves. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh seconds.
Hold on for one moment. Cool. So what we can do here, everyone, is because we've already discussed everyone that's on these, even though the recommendations are split into A, B, C and D, we can move that we move this en bloc. So we're voting on the whole lot. So do I have a seconder for that to move en bloc? Okay. Councillor Welsh.
I will second.
Okay, so we're going to move parts A, B, C and D all at the same time. We have a seconder. I think we already have our seconder. Thanks, Councillor Smith. Okay. All right, moving them en bloc, all of the recommendations at the same time for this item only. Is anyone speaking against? No? Okay, let's put it to the vote. And thanks to everyone for putting your hand up for those positions. That's passed unanimously at 6-0, and we will move to the next item. Thanks everyone for your patience on that. It's a little bit finicky, and we're finding our way through that. Next item, SY 138-11/25 is the financial report for October 2025. We know what that is for. It's the financial activity, creditors payment listing and purchasing card transaction to council for noting as part of our transparency. Let's have a look at the recommendation. Are there any points of clarification or questions? Councillor Smythe.
I have a number of questions.
Okay.
My first question is the outstanding sundry debtors, 30 days and over. What is the ex gratia rates claim for, and why is this a sundry debtor when it says rates?
We'll move that to the temporary CEO for an answer.
Thank you, through the chair. That actually is for CBH, and that is because it sits outside the normal rating, so it actually goes out as an invoice rather than as a rates payment request.
Another question, Councillor Smythe?
I have another question. There is a payment, an EFT 34795 to Daries for the removal and disposal of materials from 2nd Avenue, and then in brackets it says cancelled. Why does it say cancelled?
I'll refer that to the temporary CEO. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, through the chair. This was part of a larger contract. The contractor did actually incur some costs, so twice we had asked them to move to the block to do some clearing up. They had already incurred mobilisation costs, and there was an agreement that we would cover that. But the majority of the contract was closed. I will just refer that to also to the acting EMCCS in case she wishes to add further, or indeed EMIDS as well. Everyone's happy. Next question.
Councillor Smythe, another question.
I have. It's EFT 34798, and it's Draco, and it's, why does it say do not use? It's a payment to Draco, and there's two of them actually. There's another one further down, and it says do not use in capital letters.
We'll refer that to the temporary CEO.
Thank you, and I'll refer that to our acting EMCCS, as she can explain it way better than me.
Thank you, through the chair. So the do not use is a notation that our officers use to identify creditors that we can no longer make payments to. With Draco, there was a restructure where they've changed their ABN. So as part of our internal controls to avoid making payment to an incorrect creditor, they've created a new creditor. These invoices were in the old entity. The new entity would be Draco.
Thanks for that response. Further questions from Councillor Smythe?
No, I'm happy. I did have some other questions, but they were answered at the agenda briefing. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Councillor Smythe. Does any other councillor have any questions on this item? No, let's see if we've got a mover. Councillor Smythe, you are...
Councillor Smythe moves.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Welsh.
Councillor Welsh seconds.
Thanks very much. Is anyone speaking against the item? Okay. Let's put it to the vote. And that is passed, carried 6-0. And we'll move to the next item. SY 139-11/25 is investments for October 2025. It presents the balance and distribution of investments held by the Shire of York to the Council. Let's have a look at the recommendation. Councillors, are there any points of clarification or questions? There are not. Do I have a mover?
Move, Councillor Trent.
Thank you, Councillor Trent. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Smythe?
Councillor Smythe seconds.
Councillor Smythe seconds. Thank you very much. Is anyone speaking against the item? We will put it to the vote. And that is carried 6-0. Let's have a look at the next item. Okay. Motions of which previous notice has been given, there are none. Questions from members without notice. I have a question from... just so everyone understands that, that's members as in councillors. Yeah, sorry Audrey, we don't take questions from the public at this point of the meeting. Okay. Questions from members without notice. Councillor Smythe, I believe you have a question.
I do have a question, and it is with regards to the EPA and the Minister's passing of the Alawoona site. And I know that there is a rally being held on the 4th, but I am wondering if this council could move that we write seeking advocacy from, or contact seeking advocacy from Chris Antonio, because he is the Avon Midland Zone's State Council representative, and they have a meeting on the 3rd. And we could say that it's a merging issue that really needs to be brought up quickly. Can we also maybe speak to the president of Walga, Karen, asking for her help? And can we perhaps write to Rebecca Brown from Walga, and she represents the waste, and just ask for some advocacy, because really we need all the help we can get.
Thanks, Councillor Smythe. So from a council perspective, I can confirm that I've been on this as the council representative since the announcement, since a couple of minutes after the announcement on Thursday afternoon. So we do have things in play at the moment, but I think it's probably best to pass to the temporary CEO to give a bit of a summary of where we are up to so far. Thanks.
So we actually did, through the chair, we did actually meet with Zone on Friday. We were there as non-voting members, but we were very lucky to have a number of those people present. So Councillor Chris Antonio and Rebecca Brown also was there. We spoke to them at length. Also the CEO of, I've forgotten it completely, Wheatbelt Development Commission. I was trying to start with a C, which was ridiculous. But so was also there. We also had a presentation from the Minister for the Wheatbelt as well. So we are running advocacy through them as well. We're hoping to meet with the CEO from the Wheatbelt Development Commission this week. We've already spoken to him, as we just need to set that opportunity up, and he will assist us in advocacy with the member for, the Minister for the Wheatbelt. We will also be looking for some support and advocacy assistance with the Minister for Road Safety and Tourism, and also waste. So we are undertaking a lot of actions in that space. We are also working with our legal team to look at our next actions as well. So it's not dead in the water. It was only the EPA that said, there's nothing to see here from the environmental perspective, while we may not agree with that, and we find some of their findings slightly inconsistent with their directions to us. We will still be continuing to fight, as was Council's direction on this one. absolutely aren't rolling over on this one. And if we are unable to get the decision overturned, because we do have limited opportunity for that, we'll still be seeking significant community benefit if that is the way that it goes forward. So that's the process that we're undertaking. So absolutely, we could continue to work with those. I don't know that needs a council motion. We will just, as administration, take that on notice. I'm sure that's very consistent with the intention of the entire group.
Thank you. Any further questions from members without notice? Councillor Trent, you've got your hand up.
Regarding this issue, are we going to approach the Shire of Mundaring, who are going to be having these trucks going through their area, up Great Eastern Highway, and through that area which is under their jurisdiction on the Chidlows York Road or Great Southern Highway, because I believe we need every bit of support we can get. The issues aren't just on the actual tip site, which is what the good minister has decided, yes, we're going to approve that, but it's the areas outside.
You raise a good point there, Councillor Trent, and I think the sentiment from council and administration and the community would be to leave no stone unturned in terms of what we could do to try and influence this decision. But just in case there's any further context, I can go across to the temporary CEO as well regarding Mundaring. Councillor Trent, could you turn your microphone on? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, I would expect that we would be able to receive a letter of support from Mundaring. While we can't speak for them exactly now, I know their Shire President reached out to us immediately after the decision to offer their condolences and support, so I think they would be. We have also had letters of support promised from the EMRC, who said that they have significant amount of waste space left in the Red Hill facility. We will be presenting, if we have the opportunity, to SAT every piece of support and information we are able to, if they give us permission to submit or intervene.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any further questions from members without notice? Councillor Trent, you've got your hand up.
Yes, Mr. President. Shouldn't we approach our federal member, seeing they come from Mundaring, and seek their support? Because obviously this is an issue which is going to affect everyone there.
Thanks, Councillor Trent. My understanding is that's already on the list of things to do, and we already have regular meetings set up with our federal member, Trish Cook. Would the temporary CEO like to add any context to that?
Similarly to the Mundaring, Trish Cook has already reached out to us about this, and we will be continuing to work with her also.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the benefit of people in the gallery, could we just outline when it is that questions from the public can be given that's not on the agenda, please?
Certainly. So any questions at an ordinary council meeting are to be delivered during question time. So you'll notice that earlier tonight there was the opportunity for written questions, then questions that are on the agenda, then questions that are not on the agenda, but it's all done during question time. Okay? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Any further questions? There are none, so we'll move along. Business of an urgent nature, there is none. Now we need to close the meeting to the public because there's a few confidential items. So this is the time of night where we thank everyone for attending. If you would like to see the closure of the meeting after this and hear how some of those results went, you are more than welcome to wait outside and come back in. Other than that, thanks so much for your attendance tonight, but we do need to clear the gallery for these confidential items. And thanks so much for your attendance.
President, I'd move that we close the meeting to the public.
No worries. Do I have a seconder for that?
Councillor Smart seconds.
Okay, let's take a vote on that, please. Thank you very much. That's carried. Thanks, everyone, for your attendance. Right, so I need to move that we open the meeting to the public.
So moved, Mr. President.
Okay, and seconded by
Councillor Smythe,
Councillor
second.
Smythe, let's take a vote on that, please. So I reopen the meeting, and that has been carried 6-0. Rebecca, thank you. Can we please reopen the meeting at 6:24 p.m. And the meeting is open. Yes. Okay. And those resolutions were all carried. Is there a specific way that you would like me to do this, admin? Okay, so resolution 211125 was carried 6-0. That was the confidential request for boundary realignment at Lot 10, Quellington Road, Calgee. Then for SY 141-11/25, the resolution was carried 6-0. SY 142-11/25, the significant age debt, that was carried 6-0. And that was all of them. So with that, we will close this OCM. Thanks, councillors, and thanks to administration for your hard work, and thanks for the members of the gallery for attending our OCM. And I will close the meeting at 6:26 p.m. And thank you, Councillor Ashford, for attending online.